the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
One of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
I got weed pots.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to an emergency episode of Stoned Appetit with your host, as always, it's me, Kip, and to my left I got CB. CB, how are you?
Emergency episode, part deux.
We had to redo this because I forgot to say allegedly 29 times. I only said it 26 times. But more information keeps coming to light. So we wanted to bring y'all an episode to clear the air about the hospitality industry and what is going on, and everyone's gossiping in the kitchens. This episode, as always, is brought to you by our friends. Oh, it's March Madness week, our month. So it's brought to you by Callie's Cannabis, Bar Green, and our friends over at Mr. B's Liquor. If y'all haven't tried it out, y'all definitely need to. Callie's and Mr. B's has 3 locations apiece. You can find them by Googling them, but our favorites are Mr. B's Ballpark and Callie's on Larimer because they're right there in the thick of it for when you're going out and about. Great place to get natural wines and things of that nature. All right, Chris. So over the weekend while you were in the mountains partying and I was just being a good boy, doing family style, wholesome, helping feed folks and helping old people across the street, it turns out a restaurateur went after one of his clients like a lion goes after a kid that got out of the truck.
Yes.
Babette's Artisanal Bakery in Longmont, Colorado. Their owner went viral for an audio that y'all will hear in just a second. And then we're going to give y'all a little backstory as well as what's been happening since that occurred. Chris?
Oh, are we like re-recording the initial? Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't make any sense when I said part deux and stuff.
It doesn't matter. People still think we're pretty stupid. And we've had a bottle of wine, and it's been a long weekend, but we had to get this episode out today.
Yes, so sorry about that, folks. I thought we were coming to you with a live update, but since we got a live update,
we're re-episoding. Yeah, we're just knocking out. It's going to be a 20-minuter. But yeah, Babette's owner, Scott, has kind of kicked the hornet's nest. So let's give you a recap of what's happened over the last 36 to 48 hours. Babette's is well known for their croissants, their caramelized yeasted loaves of bread, and a bunch of other really solid foods. But sadly enough, what they're also known for in the hospitality and restaurant world are being mega pricks. They're real big dickheads. Allegedly. Well, no, they're not allegedly. We know they're dickheads. Allegedly is going to be used a lot here in about 5 minutes. But before we dive into anything, what happened was a lady bought a house in Longmont. Her realtor gave her a loaf of bread and including a bunch of other shit from Longmont, like welcome to the fucking neighborhood, lady.
Yeah.
But she got a loaf that was black, She called it burnt. I know that they kind of play their game a little different. That's probably fucking burnt to me too. But at the same time, so what she tried to do is she reached out to the realtor and then she called Babette's to see if she could get she could get like an exchange or to let them know that this happened. Which, Chris, thoughts thus far?
I mean, I think if you call into a place, and ask about it and kind of make your claim for why you may not have enjoyed it or something like that, then that's on the industry, no matter what it is, to be responsive and not to just like immediately go on the offense or, feel like you're being wronged. Like everybody has different tastes. Everybody likes different things. And sometimes maybe it wasn't that, like maybe that person didn't enjoy it. But you can keep a customer and maybe add more customers if you were to, respond appropriately.
So they did the exact fucking opposite, Chris. Funny that you say that. So we don't know what transpired on this phone call, but what we have is her recollection and then their, what they said after the fact. But what it did lead to happen was the owner, Steven, and you can hear it now.
Hi, Leah. My name is Stephen Scott. I'm the owner of Babette's, and you called and greatly upset my wife, my co-owner, and we know who you are and we know where you work, so we need the review to come down in the next 10 minutes, and if not, I'm going to do everything in my power, and I'm not going to sleep, and I will make sure you lose your job. Do you understand every fucking word coming out of my mouth? You have 10 minutes to remove the review. Everyone involved knows who you are.
Which is kind of
allegedly.
All of this is alleged from Reddit and YouTube. We have that audio thanks to YouTube, and it was pulled down, but we have it.
And so he never communicated with this person at all. He was reacting based off his wife.
That's what he's telling us. Yes.
Right. So his wife was upset, and as like part owners in a small business, I could see being upset over, a bad review, but at the same time, it's how you handle things.
Chris, I'm starting to believe, because there's a track record here. Steven's an ultra dickhead on the internet on a regular basis. So if you have a difference of opinion about his baking style and his product that he puts on the shelf, and you let him know that through Google or Yelp, first off, we kind of find you to be you're just gross as well. You're a pretty big prick also. But this guy handles it so poorly. Like, he may be the worst interneter in the history. Like, he's up there with, like, I don't even know, OJ. He's not good at interneting. And so he goes after people on a regular basis that leave him less than flattering reviews. So it's not a first time, but it doesn't stop there, Chris. Allegedly, according to the victim, the lady that was also doxxed on the internet by the same fucking bakery owner, received multiple phone calls after the fact. So she reached out to the Loveland Police Department, Longmont Police Department, and has dealt with that accordingly. All of this allegedly through social media platforms. We have seen this. There's multiple calls from other lines threatening things and harassment, including a fucking email to what they thought was where she worked, Chris. Like, holy shit. This is just shy of like swatting somebody because you got killed in Call of Duty. This guy's a fucking loser.
Yeah.
She's a loser too.
Huge D-bag.
She's a loser too.
Yeah,
she's complaining about free bread.
Yeah, that's the one thing. She was gifted this bread, and I don't know, like, the whole story behind the whole, like, delivery of it, if it was late or whatever. But anyways, like, I don't know, go pick up the bread yourself and deliver it to her. But second of all, if you bitch about a free gift, like, just, if you don't like it, toss it in the trash. You didn't lose anything.
And to be fair, like, she was like, I went to the realtor first. But at the same time, imagine she just moved in and she just, like, pissed all over the favorite fucking bakery in town. It's like, oh, have you met Karen over here? She's the one that, ruined it. And it's not like he didn't pull a Kanye, but he did go way beyond the pale of fair behavior. He's a fucking psycho that definitely needs some anger management, but she kind of sucks too, Chris.
Yeah, no, and I think
she would be a terrible neighbor. She's like, you didn't scoop all your snow.
Yeah. Noise violation is 10 o'clock.
She's definitely
she's throwing noise violations.
But this is a justified reason because this guy went psycho mode.
He did go psycho mode.
In the words of Animal House, or what was it, Stripes, relax, Francis. Calm the fuck down because he needs to take touch some grass.
But and while we're not like saying like any statements we make, we're not taking one side or the other. But at the same time, like, people and Yelp reviews,
I'm taking her side. He went too far.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, this guy's a D-bag for sure. Yeah. But like also like when you think about like leaving a restaurant a review, like you aren't a food critic, and also if you're fucking looking at regular like Joe down the street's review of a restaurant, then like you're losing already. But at the same time, like, if you want to leave something that might negatively affect a business, like, try to talk to them first. And then if you talk to them and they don't handle it well, then by all
that's
means,
what she did,
yeah,
Chris.
exactly.
Allegedly, that's what she did, and it spurred this guy to go over the top. But it's not the first time he's done it. And so when we actually were talking about it on social media, it came to my attention Saturday night, right as I was about to do my prayer before getting in bed about 9, casual night. It was brought to my attention, and they made a statement or whatever that he was in the wrong, but then he just fucking tried to excuse his behavior. He didn't actually apologize, and in the process, he doxed the poor woman, which, we're professionals, so we're not going to do that here. Shout out to, I'm just kidding. But he's gone and fucked this up royally, and so it's kind of like maybe both sides need to kind of put the phone down and just take a breather, because he's done this too many times. And then when we brought it up on our social media, it seems that he left a pretty sour taste of the folks that he worked with and amongst in the Colorado Denver community, whether it be at the source or those that were in the wider hospitality net. I think one baker said he set back the baking industry a couple of years, which I'm not exactly sure what that means, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it means anything, but I get to use that as a quote because we're in journalism now. And this guy is preposterous.
Yeah, I mean,
a restraining order against a baker because you didn't like his free bread.
Yeah, and the funny thing is now
episode.
is you don't need you need to take this offline. Already it sounds like it's gotten to the legal realm. So shout out to Frank Azar. But anyways,
this is a Backus and Shanker types or a Ramos Law. If y'all want to sponsor this here podcast, y'all give us a shout, you lawyers.
I kind of like McDivitt because like the frog McDivitt. But anyways, either way, we'll take free legal advice or whatever. And actually, it'd be great for you to chime in on what's going to happen in this situation. But this may be like a trial. We might have live updates coming.
Dude, I sincerely doubt there will be a trial.
But take it offline and figure it out. And also, the sad thing about it is you being Babette's could have really gotten ahead of this and just made an apology and said that we're sorry, we were out of line. Maybe explain why you were so angry. And then be I'm going to.
What if he's
look
I have
in.
hemorrhoids?
Yeah. Or it could have been hey, come on down. We'll let you in on how we make our bread and why it may have this charred crust to it or something like that. You could have made it a positive, and now you're fucked.
And you're exactly right. That's actually you speaking from the heart of how to correct a shitty situation, or had you put a little thought into your reply, because he was obviously acting emotionally and
Yeah.
Probably callously by calling and harassing this young woman. But, one thing that could also help is hire a fucking PR firm. There's 7 million of them here in Denver. They represent the shittiest of restaurants as well as the best of restaurants. They could make you look like roses in 6 months' time. It's not like he said the N-word on camera. He would be back in action in no time. All he did was employment threaten.
Yeah. And the funny thing is,
that's a joke, by the way. He's acting like a fucking psycho.
I think one of the funniest parts about this is how on earth do you think you would have the power to call somebody's employer and be yo, legit, what would you say? Be this person left a 1-star review. It was I'm really fucking pissed about it. So clearly whatever she does for you, she sucks. What
if she's an interior designer?
Yeah, or a doctor.
She has no taste. If she had taste, she would have understood how the caramelization of the yeast, brah.
Yeah, if I would have gotten one of those emails, first of all, I would have called up my employee and been yo, this is fucking hysterical.
Be
you're fired.
Also, stop leaving fucking Yelp reviews, you nerd. I'm sure that this person was since they're not going to listen to me over the phone about this free bread. There's no winners in this situation, except for this here podcast, which has garnered a lot more listens today. But to be honest, they're all losers, some bigger than others. And I feel for the employees at Babette's. Maybe we could start a GoFundMe to get them out like it's Jonestown.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was floated by a friend. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, like, I hate to say it, but when you're, nowadays, you know, if you're a community-based restaurant, like, if you fuck up, like, you're on notice.
But see, it's not you can fuck up a loaf of bread or
Right.
a phone call. It was an off day. Like, we've all had them working
It's
in the
how you
restaurant.
handle it.
It's how you handle it. But he has now, it seems like, he's garnered a lot of attention on his Google reviews. They're all 1 stars. But he replied, like, if you look at the 1 stars, obviously 7 million of them are from the last 28 hours. But the ones from previous experiences, we need to make sure, we need to do a wellness check. I've watched enough crime docs to know that sometimes people go to these vacations and their cars are at DIA forever, Chris. I've seen it happen. And so we just need to, I'm worried. I mean, these guys are serial offender.
You know, and you know, if let's say Babette's did have a PR firm, if they would have gotten 1-star reviews, their PR firm, I mean, they're probably better than what I would be, but they would just say, hey, why don't you respond to this 1-star review with a, hey, you know, I'm sorry that you did not have a pleasant experience. We'd be happy to welcome you back in. Like, depending on what the situation is, if it's like, hey, a team member was, like, kind of mean or off-putting to me, then you could be like, oh, I'm sorry about that experience, bring you back in, we'll have a croissant, coffee on us. Or if somebody makes a statement that makes you upset because, like, this is your craft, like, you're a baker, you put out the product that you think needs to be out there, and they may not like it, you can be like, hey, come on in. Let me show you how I do this process. Like,
he allegedly is a shithead because, I mean, there's people on the threads from Reddit of, like, how he treats.
Right.
He was like, I worked there for a month. He thinks his shit doesn't stink. So he's always in the right. And while we know customers are not always in the right, hell, they're not even right 6% of the time. It's, you know, how you deal with that is the difference between being like a child and an adult. It's like, I don't feel like going to work, but I fucking still do sometimes. You know, like that's,
yeah.
It's like, how do you handle adversity is kind of speaks to how your character is. And we know this guy doesn't have any.
And that's pretty much the definition of hospitality.
Yeah, he may be in the wrong business. He may be back of house forever.
Yeah, like if you're in hospitality, like you're trying to create an experience for somebody. And so you need to help guide them through that experience. And if they have a bad one, then you need to acknowledge it and do something to correct it. It's as easy as that. It's really not that hard. But this guy woke up Sunday morning feeling way worse than I did. And I drank a lot at high altitude with a hour-and-a-half hot tub session. Like, I don't think that's healthy. I don't advise that. But at the same time, like, I guarantee you my hangover this morning is not as bad as this guy's.
Dude, he's just, I mean, he's definitely eating crow. I bet his wife is fucking furious. Allegedly, through this Instagram account that replied to his post, kind of clarifying some of the things, she was like, yeah, so-and-so has already terminated their contract with Babette. So they may have some scary Monday morning emails to the lights of which we have never seen, Chris.
And I think bakeries are closed on Monday, so that may be a plus for them. But at the same time,
that's usually when I handle invoices, and it's going to be a scary Monday.
So where do you see this going? Let's say,
as a patron, I'm just going to go straight to Rosalie's and the Cheese Emporium going forward. We're very conscious going. You know, usually we don't, you know, buy Chick-fil-A, but we also don't. We try to support the local restaurant the best we can. So I'm going to be a little more conscious. I'm going to go check out maybe the number 2 and the number 3 bakery in Longmont next time I go up there. But realistically, Babette's didn't hold a candle to Rosalie's. Once I found that sausage garlic knot, I've been having wet dreams about that stuff for months.
Or what about Biscuits at Mike's?
Oh, Biscuits at Mike's. That's a great food truck, Chris, and a great reminder.
And apparently he's not a dick.
Oh, no, he's not. His employees actually like to work
Allegedly.
for him. Yeah, he's not an alleged dick. We haven't actually combed through his Yelp reviews, but maybe we start bringing back Yelp reviews like when we used to steal them from Casa Bonita and make chefs that aren't dickheads. Read them as if they were.
Good.
We're going to start grabbing Babette's 1-star reviews and having chefs that don't have shitty personalities start reading them. That's a good idea. Well, that kind of wraps up this emergency episode. Obviously, everybody knows that we're in the thick of our March Madness. We had the play-in games last Friday. Let's give a nod to the ones that won, but also cue the Sarah McLachlan for a little bit of an ode to our friends that we lost along the way, a lot of which were some of the newer names around town, our friends at Molotov.
Yep. I think that was just, new guys, you got to build that community up. Obviously, people know what he does at Misfit, so
yeah, they're a 2 seed. They're the 1 seed out of the Stoner Food. And then we lost Noisette and Olivier, nicer restaurants in that same kind of pantheon of run into a buzzsaw of stoner snacks.
Yeah, it's hard. And, Stoner is a big community, so if you've got the community support, you can push through.
Yeah, and those are a little bit more higher end. So if you're looking for a nice French dinner, Noisette right down there in the Highlands is an experience, as well as Olivier over in Wash Park, which is more of a fresh nudes. They channel, is it Northern Italian? I can't remember which regional Italian dankness, and I know for a fact that they treat their employees well. They actually take them to Italy every year, and they have a lot of 5-star reviews.
Yeah,
and you want to try something fresh where people care about their employees. These are all of these locations are, but we usually try to give an ode to those that we lose, and then we don't talk about those that are still in the tournament.
Yeah, Olivier is next on my list. I'm so bad at this when I get when I want to go out for a big date night or something like that. I know my staples and I love those, but I do need to I'm making it a point next big to do.
You need to. It's wonderful. I haven't been regularly just because oftentimes when you want to do, a night with a lot of red wine and a big heavy meal, you don't want to necessarily be on the other side of town from where we are. So having one a little bit closer than the other is always nice. But if you are on the Wash Park side, it's a great location, great wine list, and the food is exceptional. But it just wasn't their year. It wasn't their year. And the same can be said for our friends over at Barbosa Barbecue. Great chicken wings, great barbecue over at Banded Oak. They came through I can't remember if it was open fire or the food truck region, but either way, they're really solid stuff, and there's some Southerners, so we love Alex and all of them.
Yeah, Alex is a great guy, loves bluegrass.
Yeah, he does.
Loves bluegrass. So if you ever want to chat bluegrass, go see him at Banded Oak and get some good fucking food. It's good.
It really is, Chris. I think there's one or two else that we're
Carreras.
Chris, those West Coast tacos and Cali burritos.
Shrimp quesadillas. We had a friend from San Diego that said that, shot us an Instagram message, or me, and just said, guys, you got to check out this spot. If you're a California, San Diego person, where I think San Diego is kind of where that Cali burrito came from. I'm pretty sure, that's its point of origin. But they were just this is fucking it.
They do exceptional work. You mentioned the shrimp quesadilla. I haven't had the dilla, but their yacos are fantastic. They've brought on a birria with a consomme. Their sandwiches, Chris. And then they have loaded nachos. I'm a sucker for Billy's Inn's carne asada fries. These fries are 6 times better.
Dude, speaking of nachos, and, not to go completely off subject.
That's exactly what we do here on this podcast.
But how good were those wonton nachos from
Mukja? We can't talk about restaurants that are still in the tournament, but yeah, those were fuckworthy.
They were pretty good.
If y'all haven't tried those out, I usually try to hit that one on when they do Lady Justice on Sundays. It's a good seltzer, a good casual sipper, light beer for me. I'm not a stodgy guy.
Yeah.
And then a loaded wonton nacho and a couple cheese dogs. It's a good call.
But the play-ins games were good, and now things are really about to heat up.
Yeah, that's right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, we have a different region going at it all week long. Friday, we'll have our next episode. So because of the emergency episode, we won't drop another one Tuesday. But on Friday, we have committee member Nam Eats joining the pod. She was instrumental in helping us figure out some locations. She pushed a lot across the finish line in different regions. We'll talk about that and what she expects to unfold. And throughout the whole month, Chris, we're going to also get the rest of the committee members maybe joining us after the Sweet 16 and in the Final Four to talk about how they feel it's unfolded thus far. So a little prequel, a little bit in the middle, and then a little post at the end.
I love that. This is fucking great. I'm so stoked stoked.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend for us. We didn't verbally assault anyone or have the police call on us, so I can't have anything. I have no negatives to say. I'm excited about starting the action today, Chris, and let's go out and support local restaurants that don't verbally accost their customers. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I hope you all have a great week. We love y'all dearly. Stay tuned to our content, not only for voting in March Madness, but I'm headed over to Spanibus in the Autoflower World Cup. So I'll be covering that from Spain for the next 5 days. But don't worry, Chris and I will be back with an episode at the end of the week. And remember to go support local business and stay high and stay hungry.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Cheers.